Hello everyone. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment saying where you're from and when you watched. That way, YouTube will continue to show you stories like this. Now, let's get started. Asterisk, we walked closer. To the pale green light, each heavy step seemed to be pulled down by an invisible force. The forest behind had closed into a wall of darkness, so turning back was no longer an option. Green light oozed from a gap between two large mossy rocks. The gap was just enough for one person to crawl through. Ethan shined his flashlight in, but the light was immediately swallowed up, leaving only a cold green like phosphorescence. I reached out to touch the surface of the rock and felt a chill run down my spine, as if the rock was alive and breathing. Mia hesitated. Her eyes flashed with fear, but the familiar whisper echoed in unison. Keep going, keep going. That whisper was no longer far away, but right next to her ears. Daniel took a deep breath and crawled into the rock cracked first. We followed. Inside was a short, damp tunnel. The walls were wet and smelled fishy. Stepping out of the tunnel, we stood in a strange space. Trees grew in circles like walls. In the center was a giant tree stump giant, with roots as big as a human body. The roots stretched out like arms wrapped around the ground. Green light radiated from the cracks on the tree trunk, making the whole area dimly lit. Daniel whispered that this was like a natural shrine. I looked closely and saw countless small wooden stakes planted around the base of the tree. On each stake hung a piece of faded cloth. Many pieces had shaky writing in many languages, including English. I bent down to read a few lines. Words begging for forgiveness, curses. There were lines saying revenge stories, as if someone still carried hatred before disappearing. Mia clasped her hands in prayer. Her eyes were full of fear, but Ethan leaned over to record. The camera shook violently, as if affected by some force. In the lens appeared blurry shadows passing by, but the naked eye could not see. I heard light footsteps echoing around the empty area, as if someone was walking in circles around us. The air suddenly turned cold. Breath turned into white mist. Daniel bit his lip and whispered that we should not stay here long. I nodded, but his legs were still held tight. The tree trunk made a creaking sound like bones rubbing. From the crack, the blue light poured out stronger. I saw in the light the shape of a skinny hand reaching out. My heart tightened. I pulled the whole group back, but behind us was now covered by a thick fog. Like a door had just closed. The whispers changed rhythm, from orders to choked laughter, mixed with crying. The sounds overlapped to the point that it seemed like there were dozens of people surrounding. Ethan screamed when he discovered a piece of cloth in front of him vibrating even though there was no wind. I looked closely and saw my name clearly written on it in scribbles. I trembled and took the cloth down. The inside was stained with incomprehensible symbols like a spell. I clearly felt an invisible weight pressing on my shoulder. The breathing was close to the back of my neck. I turned around quickly, but there was no one. Daniel pulled my hand to signal to leave the cloth behind. I did as he said. As soon as the cloth fell to the ground, the blue light faded gradually. The whole space was engulfed in darkness. In that moment, I clearly heard a sentence and a voice that sounded exactly like mine. Turn around, turn left. The real path is there. I knew I had just been lured into a vortex of conflicting words. We were stuck between fake and real paths, and it seemed like someone, or some force, was playing a game of chase with us in the Aokigahara Forest. And the next choice would decide everything, and the darkness was still waiting to reveal more secrets in the next episode.